Studio, mics are up. Studio silence, please.
Invest your money where it makes more money for you. Download the iInvest app at www.iinvestng.com. Powered by Sterling Bank.
Good morning, Lagos, and welcome to Freshly Pressed 981. It's a program within which we give you detailed analysis of our newspaper stories this morning. And we have a wonderful analyst in the studio with us for 2019 edition. We have a CCO Gate Lagos, Mr. Ireti Bakare-Yusuf. I'm excited to see you this morning.
Well, yeah, who
Happy New
totally
Year.
forgot? People had gone back to work. Thanks to Lakumi.
I know.
Just call me Speedy Gonzalez, Superwoman,
The first week of January.
crazy driver, and crazy driving.
Do you have rigs in front of your car?
I just literally like,
You need some of
honestly,
that.
forgive me whoever it was that crushed off the road to
Whoa.
get here on time.
Okay.
The few marijuas, I'm sure, are still swearing under their breath.
And we have Fred in the studio. Hi, Fred.
Good morning.
And Fred Allison is at Mr. FB Allison on Twitter. And of course, Mr. Ireti Bakare-Yusuf is on Twitter at CCO Lagos. Lagos, let's start with this first story. But before that, please remember to send in your comments and observations on the stories. Send it through WhatsApp to 0809 444 0981. That's 0809 444 0981. And also on Twitter, use the hashtag FreshlyPressed981, and you know you should be tweeting at Smooth981FM. Very quickly, we'll go to the story from Punch newspaper, which is our first story. On the ranking by Forbes, Forbes ranks Nigeria 110th best country for business. I mean, should we ignore the number 110 and just pick the best and run with that? But then we see that some African countries, a lot of African countries overtook us in these charts. Last year we were ranked 115th out of 153. So I'm picking the positives. Moving up the ladder. But what are your thoughts, Fred?
Yeah, so as you said, we're doing a lot better than last year, but I guess the giant of Africa is only by miles.
Yeah,
So
not quite so
not quite the
gigantic
giant,
after
right?
all.
Because we're number 15th in Africa,
Mhm.
and as we continue to move away from oil and try to make ourselves generate more income
Diversify,
from non-oil revenue, these are things that we have to take seriously. We're not just a giant just sitting there and thinking that anyone will come do business with us, and we have to create all this on welcoming or unattractive conditions, and people will just come do business. We have to consider ease of doing business, how we attract even our people. There are people in the diaspora that come do business in Nigeria.
But it's important to state here that the data that they released, they put out this result, is based on the published reports from Freedom House, Heritage Foundation, Property Rights Alliance, United Nations Transparency International, World Bank, Marsh and McLennan, and World Economic Forum, based on certain factors like the property rights that we have existing in Nigeria, innovation taxes, technology, corruption, freedom, personal trade and monetary, red tapeism, the investor protection, and all these other metrics used to evaluate all the countries. I mean, it's a clear indication of how we're performing so far.
I think it's important. It's very, very true. I think one of the things Fred said, that ease of doing business, it's all of that comes under it. When you come here as a foreigner to come into business, the amount of restrictions and unnecessary red tape, and it's not red tape in the good way. It's like literally, let's be frank, corruption, red tape of corruption that you have to, the hoops that you have to jump through, certainly would put you off. But I think if we look at it on a positive note, which is I think what Valentine would like us to talk about, is yes, of course, we're diversifying, and in the process of diversifying away from a mono economy to a multiple economy, we are going to go through certain pains, and it's going to take us a little while to be able, it's a bit like cradling the child. It's going to take a little while for that child to grow. However, what we have done as a nation is where others started diversifying many, many years ago. We started our diversification very late, but we're also not being, yes, the rhetoric is aggressive, but the actions aren't as aggressive as the rhetoric.
The actions are not matching up with the rhetoric, because we see how slow the government reacts to certain allegations of corruption, especially when it affects key government office holders, even governors. We haven't finished with the story of one of the governors who was caught on tape collecting money from one of the contractors who's coming in to
And
set things in place.
and corruption is the basis of all the ugliness in any country. So, and we're in a country like Nigeria where you have it so rampant, and it's almost like part of our pores and the pores of everybody's skin.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to play a major part in how we grow. But look, we rank in the top, not in the worst. So
Yeah.
I'm just
So
going to
we-
carry
we've-
that best.
We've improved.
Let's just carry that best and
Hold
just
it to our
take it
chest.
through
Yeah,
the new
we've
year.
improved from
Thank
last
you.
year, as you
But,
said.
carry
we've
that best and
improved
hold it
last
to our
year.
chest and keep moving on.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to this day for this next story for Boko Haram. NEMA, the National Emergency Management Agency, says it has registered 406 displaced households in Maiduguri following the resurgence of Boko Haram insurgents hostilities in the northern part of Borno. They said they earlier registered 2,046 displaced persons in Bakassi who were forced to flee their homes due to recent conflict in Kukawa, Baga, and 4 other communities in Kukawa local government area. What are your thoughts on this, Fred?
Yeah, this is something we thought we would have stopped seeing by now. The whole earlier in the year, earlier over the last year, we kept getting all this news that we've won the war against Boko Haram, and they were like on their way completely out, and we still keep hearing this news of displaced people, which obviously speaks to the activity of the Boko Haram set. They're still very active in the northeast, and we just want to, stop getting this kinds of report. Obviously, the good thing is actually there's a place that this displaced people can go temporarily, even if it's not the best thing in the world, as opposed to not even having any kind of setup at all. But obviously, it's a temporary state, so the goal is to get the communities back to a more permanent state where there's order and safety and security, and we've taken over these regions so that the citizens can go back to their, can start getting integrated, because they can't go back to exactly what it was before. But they start getting integrated to the communities that they had left.
All right. Thank you, Fred. And let's be optimistic about this, because there's so many glaring realities that could just leave you worried when you think about how many families affected. 406 families, not individuals. Families that sometimes comprise of 6 members, 6 to 7 members, and and all that. But anyway, let's move on to this next story. Mr. Ireti Bakare-Yusuf, I'd like you to take this from New Telegraph. Buhari diverted 1.03 trillion naira to buy Keystone 9 Mobile is a serious allegation that's put forward by PDP. And I wasn't surprised when I saw the story, because I know that getting very close to the elections, we'll see a lot of these allegations. But what are the true factors in this story?
Well, we don't know what the facts are, but I find this story extremely important and, alarming accusations, concerning, certainly. One that I think should be on the front page and has to be investigated very quickly, and not necessarily because I believe in it or whether I don't believe in it, is merely because the accusation is that a former military leader is stealing money, diverting funds that's supposed to be for the military to Keystone Bank and 9 Mobile. But even more so, part of the accusation continues. He says here, more so, the presidency has blatantly refused to respond to allegations that military fund is being used to finance President Buhari's re-election campaign, which even manifested in the use of military resources to produce APC's campaign material, including an electronic memento book by the Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansur Mohammed Dan Ali. I mean, these are really, really serious allegations.
Very serious.
So
we got reactions from PDP side, from the APC side.
Yeah, well, for one, the PDP are asking EFCC, Interpol, etc., to
immediately investigate.
However, of course, additional has come out and said, look, the allegation is not even worth responding to. During the PDP reign, no money was sacred. Excess crude account, they looted it. The Federation account, they looted it. Central Bank, they looted it. Foreign Reserve, they looted it. No money was sacred. They could steal anything. In fact, it is a miracle that the entire country was not completely looted before they left. And this is why they now think that every government is going to be like them. Last week, they threatened to bring evidence to support their allegations. Why have they not brought it? I think it is not even worth responding to, because it shows that they were idle. If they were not idle, they will come out with evidence and show Nigerians. That's true as it may be, and
Which is what I
plausible.
think is key, because making these allegations sometimes inflames, not sometimes, all the time.
Yeah.
It's very inflammatory when you see it as part of the headlines that
Yeah.
you read through the papers.
Yeah, but
How about coming up with evidence? Let us see. We're
Yeah.
not saying you're wrong in your accusations, but at
Yeah.
least just have some meat
yeah.
to that story.
Yeah, and you know, PDP have the right to make allegations. Any one of us can actually submit what you call a memo to EFCC and say, look, I think Valentine is cheating on me and he's collected 10 million naira of my money, and he said he would pay it back and he hasn't paid it back. Any one of us can do that. I you know, and that's not what's wrong. What must happen though is that investigations should not be seen as a sort of a preference, or it should be a must, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
They have to investigate this simply because of the seriousness of it.
Yes,
But
very serious.
yeah, and the lack, if any lack of investigation that happens with this is actually an indictment on the war on corruption.
Yes.
And it's it's actually symbolic of how rotten we've become as a nation.
And leaving it as is without necessarily investigating as
And
well.
closing it, yes.
And closing it without a commensurate
Proper conclusive
consequence.
Yeah.
Consequence even to the people who made the allegation.
Absolutely. Because I think if it is found to be false, yes, then somebody needs to be sued or
Exactly.
charged. You know, these are serious, really serious.
All right, let's move forward to this next story from Vanguard newspaper. Lagos 2019 budget already in the House. That is a statement from the budget commissioner for Lagos State, and he made this made this statement based as a reaction to Jimmy Abaje, the flag bearer for PDP for the governorship race in Lagos. Jimmy Abaje yesterday said that it was not surprising that he called Ambode a lame duck. Said it was not surprising to see that the budget for 2019 has not been presented. He made some instances and said for the past 10 years, the Lagos State government has had a culture of budget presentation before the fiscal year. He gave instances. It says the 2018 budget of 1.4 trillion, for instance, was the largest ever in the history of the state, was presented by Ambode in December 11th, 2017. The 2017 budget was presented on November 29, 2016. 2016 budget was presented December 17, but this time around he said nothing has been presented, that he wouldn't be surprised if he does not expect a governance until after May of 2019. But
So what he's saying is that he doesn't think the budget will be passed.
No, he's saying
It's
it's
not
not been
presented
presented
anyway.
That's-
But the Lagos State
But they're
Commissioner
saying
for
it's already
Budget,
in the House.
Yes, he said that Ambode verbally presented it to the House, let the House know that the budget is ready for presentation, but because of the timing, that presentation was made on the 24th of December. It was intended to be read
The day before Christmas then.
Yes.
Are they serious? Are they telling me that they were in house the day before? I mean, do these people really think we're that stupid?
But Fred,
Christmas Eve.
Fred, what are your thoughts on this?
I thought the same thing too when I saw the date 24th. I was like,
So Lagos
who was
House
there
of
to-
Assembly
who was
sat.
there receiving it? Obviously, he said they were in recess, and then a formal letter was sent to the House on the 28th. But anyway,
To whom? The turkey?
Well, it just goes to the point that is being made that this is not the normal process, or this is not the normal occurrence that we've seen historically from the Lagos State governor, government. Is usually before, so it just shows that there's a lax, So it just goes to his point that he's making, that we're in a state where the current governor, maybe because he's not rerunning, or because of the situation that happened in the ASUU, he's turned off too. But we the
What do you mean
people-
maybe? The man has turned off. Lagos is a mess. Let's just be frank with each other. Can we stop pussyfooting around the fact? Lagos is a colossal
Language.
mess. Clearly,
Language.
no. Pussyfooting is a pussycat.
No,
Stop.
let's move
It's
on.
a cat. Stop it. It's a
Okay.
cat.
Let's move
It is
on.
a cat.
Fred,
Right?
Okay, so
Lagos is a mess. Lagos is a colossal
Lagos
mess.
is, yes, and it's not what we expect right now, and he's stating that we're probably going to be at this state till May, when he believes he'll be coming in, or other governor, APC, the current.
So should we overlook this and see it as a mere rhetoric, or as a political
No,
statement, or it's something
no,
that should be considered
no,
as?
it's something we should consider, and I'm glad that they're reacting to it. You know, what I've come to appreciate now is that although there's no true accountability in the country from our government, there's some level of accountability. You know,
And then speaks to the level of influence that external bodies, or I mean, how partisan the state of affairs are in running the government, because we have how many months till May? I mean, if you look at the trend from now till then, there's a lot of activities that's lined up, from elections to, it starts with the presidential elections, and then we'll have to be dragging along until then. Shouldn't this be a cause for worry?
No, it should, and this is the thing. Look, in any other part of the world, the government must continue to do its work, irrespective of the fact that there's an election going on, irrespective of the fact that there might be a possibility that somebody else will come and take over your job. In actual fact, what you should be doing is not so much even just doing your work, ensuring that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, or your paperwork is in line, you're ready with a handover, so to speak, to the next person. And if it's you, then you just continue in earnest, right? That's what should be happening. It's just in Nigeria that we think government must stop. So, because elections are on.
The good thing is that Lagos has always continued, right, with the governor of states, just as to,
because it's often the same person.
Exactly. So this is the first time it's almost
a different,
like it's not like another party is taking over, but another person is taking over. So this is the first time we're seeing this.
It's unusual for them.
So,
let's move on now. Thank you very much. We have a comment here on WhatsApp from Yinka. Yinka says, Madam Ireti, everyone of them makes allegations. Trust me, the APC is best at it. Val asked the question on Business Express about how much the federal government actually makes from crude oil, specifically because of this. If a barrel of oil goes for $100 per barrel, this crude is being drilled and sold by the IOC. The NNPC does not drill and sell oil, but on every barrel of oil, the NNPC has a share of it. Considering oil at $100 per barrel for a hypothetical situation, the federal government might be getting like $35 or $40 on every barrel. But in the past, even the APC had painted the picture that federal government gets the entire assumed $100 on every barrel. Now that's an allegation that some people still move with as yesterday. So it's election period. Many allegations will come out. For instance, the Alaji Gandola in the video is an allegation, Abi. That's a question that lurks around. Anyway, let's go to this next story here from Premium Times. Strike. We are unaware of 15.9 billion naira payments by federal government, and this is coming from ASUU, the Academic Staff Union of the university. They say it has not been briefed to the alleged payments of 15.9 billion naira to universities by the federal government 2 months after it embarked on the strike. And we know the demands that they are making, Ms. Ireti. Some of the demands include, that the federal government has not met up with the agreements that they signed in 2013 and 2017. They're protesting poor welfare, poor funding, and general decay in the education system and infrastructure. The Minister of Labour came out to say that, that the federal government had allotted some sum to be paid, but then those from ASUU,
towards their salaries.
They haven't heard, they haven't seen anything.
Well, it's not.
But they have a meeting tomorrow, though.
Yeah, so here's my concern. I mean, it's disgraceful, of course, that, this gets into the press before it gets to ASUU. ASUU didn't know anything about it yet. The press, it was in the papers.
Because somebody from Premium Times called the Minister of Labour.
That's what I'm saying. So, press.
Assertion.
So it was in the press. ASUU didn't know anything about it. And as far as they're concerned, the next meeting is until Monday.
No, it's tomorrow.
But Monday. He said Monday. He said we're meeting on government on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So, however, what concerns me here is, it is possible that this 15 billion would have been given to them. Is that enough? Because you talk about poor funding and general decay in education infrastructure. It's the education infrastructure that concerns me the most. Is that 15 billion enough? Is that really the figure that you're looking for? Or are you looking for salaries to be paid up to date? I often wonder about the motivation behind these strikes. And that's not to say that teachers shouldn't be properly compensated. Absolutely they should. Nobody should be owed salaries. It's a disgusting act that they do in this country, and it really should be illegal. Employers should go to jail for owing people salaries. However, you work within a space that has been decaying for decades, and you've gone on strike again. You said you had demands in 2013 and demands in 2017. I don't know which of those demands that haven't been met, because we know our government are not good. They're not very good at meeting up with their promises. However, the one thing we do know is that the education infrastructure has continued to sink. You know, it's been a downward spiral. It hasn't lifted at all.
And the reactions across board is calling for autonomy for the university system.
Exactly. In fact, when we look at, if you look across, and this is just a sort of litmus test, I haven't done any kind of research into it. If you look across Nigeria in the last decade, if you like, you've seen growth in technology, you've seen a change in agriculture, albeit a baby growth. You've seen some, successes even within the health sector. But education has just been stagnant. Yes. And so I would like to hope that they're not going to go they're not going to sort of call off their strike as a result of making, their salaries have been paid and they've been offered housing, etc., and health insurance. I hope they stick to it and really focus on the infrastructure of the education, because if they don't do that, they're going to be back on strike again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ireti. Let's move on very quickly because I have very little time. To this next story, Fred, I'll come to you for this one from Thisday. NBS revenue from VAT hits 540.23 billion naira in 2 quarters. They said they recorded this total sum of 540.23 billion naira they were generated from value-added tax deductions in the second and third quarters of the year. According to the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, they said this marks an increase from the previous year as recorded. What are the factors really affecting this, and how do we see this playing out?
Okay, so yeah, as you said, it looks impressive, but altogether as a nation, though I hate to say this, we have a low tax to GDP ratio, and so as we've mentioned earlier, we kind of have to look at every sector of our economy and every sector, every possibility to be competitive, as a nation, for the welfare of our people and just to be able to, strive, right? So I'm not advocating for a higher VAT, which we need to do to be competitive with other parts of the world,
especially in this time where we're really looking forward to having foreign investments come into the country, and remind you of the ranking as well. So in cases, the government usually would give incentives to tax waivers, but it's based on the long-term gains that we're going to get. On the short term, so it's, as I said, it looks like impressive number, 549 billion in the last 2 quarters, but altogether, our tax to GDP ratio is still
pretty low.
Thank you very much, Fred. Moving on now to this next story. Mr. Ireti, Education Ministry bans harmful apps on campuses. That's from the Punch newspaper. Take us through this, please.
Yeah, so apparently you have education apps, I guess, that you have on the intranet within the universities. I have no idea. It's been a long time since I was in university, but you have these apps, but what's scary is that you would have thought they had been approved, but of course in every app you have to have some sort of a barrier, if you like, where you don't get porn being advertised on it, and you don't get the wrong things being advertised on it. So because you have this all over the world, and they're strictly controlled. Even the advertisement is strictly controlled by the university bodies.
2 questions I have based on control. How much control does the university system have on their students and the apps they use, or their mobile gadgets? And then how much control are they allowed to have? Because the university system is supposed to encourage you to think for yourself.
Absolutely. So is it about what's on your mobile gadget? So for instance, if you're using, I would like to believe that if you're on the, I keep saying intranet, you have to forgive me, that's my time. Yeah, right. So if you're on the university intranet, in my time, if you're on the university intranet, you had, there were, even my son in secondary school, there's so many things he's not able to do with his phone because he has to go through the school's internet.
It's a cloud-based system.
Thank you.
So some of these schools have now portals.
So I would have thought
have information uploaded.
That's
there.
right. So I would have thought the minute you enter the university environment, the ring, if you like,
The
of protection
cloud.
is there.
Yes.
No, not even so much the cloud. I know about the cloud. My
okay.
darling, I used to implement cloud technology.
mm.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That you have a ring of protection.
Yes.
The minute you enter the university's environment, because it can be controlled.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is I'm surprised that it's not. And I would like to think that this is actually, believe it or not, a revenue generating opportunity for
Perfect.
universities.
Mm-hmm. And
So
but
they should be controlling the
they're emphasizing on the
advertisement.
fact that they're emphasizing on the fact that educational apps they make available to the students should be absolutely free.
Mm.
It shouldn't be charged for it.
What you mean the apps?
Yes,
Yes,
the apps.
yes. I mean most apps are free
some
anyway.
of them are free.
Yeah, the ones in the universities, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you.
universities, all they're discounted.
Okay.
You get discounted.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to this next story from Premium Times. Of a robbery, Lai Mohammed, the information minister, has released evidence, or saying he's releasing evidence on alleged Saraki's 10 million naira donation. He said that based on the broadcast that was made on New Year's Day, that the Senate President apparently said that he donated some money to the families affected by the robbery attack, the dangerous act incident that happened.
Yes.
Or that that they made a rebroadcast in their words, that they rebroadcasted that announcement because it was an ulterior motive behind it, because they had to edit out the information that it was a donation to the families that were affected by the offer robbery. That they just said it was a donation in itself to the people.
Well, look, PDP suck one punch, APC suck another punch, and it keeps going back and forth. And APC, I guess, the official APC spokesman will always suck the harder punch, I guess. So he's gone back to the offer robbery, which is something he knows that is, it's a stain on the Senate president forever, even though he's never been found guilty of anything, but it will forever be associated with his name. You're not going to think Saraki and not think offer robbery and whatever. And I think he's referring to a recording that I had heard. It was done on the radio in Yoruba, in Ilorin, many weeks ago. I can't remember it now because I've since deleted it, but I remember seeing it and thinking, okay, what exactly is he saying? And in that recording, I seem to remember him being dismissive of the amount that they said was stolen. That's what I remember from it.
The amount was 7 million.
Yeah, no, he was. That's what I'm saying.
Reports.
He was dismissive. He said 7 million. That sort of. Yeah, he was quite dismissive of it, and everybody was like, okay, Twitter was on fire saying, this is the guy. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, by the way.
Yeah.
But apparently he was said to have given them 10 million, 10 million towards the people who suffered from the robbery. My only question is that if truly Saraki did give 10 million to people that suffered from the offer robbery, why isn't there a fund for people who suffer, who experience robberies generally?
As generated by the state government,
generally,
the federal government.
that we can, that they can seek compensation from, and if he wants to use that, he can start a compensation fund in Ilorin anyway. Why not just in Kwara State? Thank you. Why not just do that rather than just be dashing 10 million all over the place? If that's what he did, I don't know. But again,
the allegation in itself, it paints a very, very bad light coming from the Minister of Information on the Senate President. So these are some of the questions we ask based on allegations, if found true, if not true, what are the consequences or implications of that? Okay, so let's take messages. Thank you very much, Mr. Ireti. We have this next one from Randolph, a message on WhatsApp. It says, I agree, there is no need to sugarcoat it. Lagos is a hot mess and we are on cruise control. Nothing is working, and I think it's because the governor lost the primaries. It is a shame. That's from Randolph. Then this other one here says, as from Lee Kazim, says, these allegations are never investigated and rarely is anyone convicted, but funds continue to be misused. The reality is that too few in power are ready to change the corrupt status quo, as there are no repercussions for enrichment. Our public servants daily post evidence of ill-gotten wealth online, and nothing happens, and it turns political. I'm afraid that's the much we can take on the messages. Special thanks to
Happy New Year. God, I forgot to say that. Sorry. Yes, I was rushing to get it. Happy New Year, Lagos.
Yes, Happy New Year to you.
We can't say this after Monday. Lagos, please promise me no Happy New Year on Monday.
Just Happy New Year to the
ends this week.
Mawas in your way.
Yes.
On your way here.
Happy New Year, Fred.
And thank you so very much.
I was here on New Year's Day.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he's at Mr. FB Allison. Lagos. Coming up next in 15 minutes, we'll go into details, and this time for exciting analysis on our entertainment stories this morning inside of the Grapevine 91. This is Smooth 98.1.
Invest your money where it